We are back with the deals of the week, where I take Prebuilt PCs, mostly on sale Prebuilt PCs, and I give you the best deals of the week, just like the title says. Now, if your budget is not mentioned on this video, don't worry about it, because down below in the description you have plenty of gaming desktops for different budgets, so check the video description if you want to see more PCs, but also if you want to see these PCs with the updated prices, because like I said, these are mostly on sale gaming desktops, meaning that when you're watching this video, prices might be different. With that being said, let's start. This time I'm going to start with the best deal of the week, going all the way to the worst deal, which is still a good deal, but it's not going to be the best deal out of all of these. And don't worry about it, there are plenty of budgets included on this video. So with the first one, we have one from Newegg. Actually, most of these PCs are from Newegg because they have their weekly deals, so keep that in mind. And the first one is going to be the Skytech Blaze 3.0 with the Ryzen 7 5800X and the RTX 3080, 1TB of SSD, 16 gigs of RAM of DDR4 at 3200 MHz, and an 850 watt 80 plus core power supply, alongside a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler for that CPU. All of these combined for the price of $1,600. Now, if you don't know anything about computers, don't worry about it. I will explain what this PC is capable, and this PC is capable basically of 4K gaming, streaming, and basically everything at 4K without any issues. And also, if you want to go for a 1440p monitor, because those are cheaper, and play esports titles, you will have a high refresh rate experience for $1,600, which is kind of crazy because 3080 gaming desktops are getting cheaper and cheaper. However, it says that the sale ends in 23 hours. I don't know if this is going to be true. Check the link in the description for you to see if it's still available or not, but you end up saving $800, which is a lot of money. And trust me, for $1,600 you're getting the RTX 3080 and the Ryzen 7 5800X, which is still a great CPU. This is an 8-core 16-thread CPU, so great for gaming of course, but also streaming and content creation. And on top of that, you have good airflow and a good CPU cooler, so temps overall are going to be fine. With the second best deal of the week, we have the ShadowGaming MEK Hero G1. This one is from Amazon for $1,100. Here you get the i7 11700KF. I would like to see the 11700K instead of the KF version, just because you get that extra iGPU that is going to help you out with video editing, but it's not a big deal anyway. And then you get the RTX 3060 Ti, which is a really good GPU for both 1440p and 1080p gaming, and I would consider the 3060 Ti one of the best GPUs for high-end 1080p. So if you have a 1080p monitor or you want to switch to 1440p and you're on a budget, even though $1,100 is not cheap, but it's definitely not the most expensive PC, I think that this one is going to be the right one for you. It used to be $1,700. Absolutely do not buy this PC at $1,700, but for $1,100 I think that it's a total steal. And you also get 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 MHz, 1TB of M.2 SSD, so you get these standards for gaming as well. And trust me, even though the i7 is the 11th gen, still pretty capable of gaming and multitasking without any issues. With the third deal, we have the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop. This one has the i7 11700. This is the non-F version like I mentioned before, so this one will be better for content creation. And then you get the RTX 3060, 16 gigs of RAM, 2TB of hard drive and 256 gigs of SSD for the price of $1,000, which I consider a pretty decent price for a PC with the 3060 and the i7 11th gen. So if you want to play at 1080p without any issues, this PC is for you. There's no game that you cannot run at 1080p 60 plus FPS. Of course, it depends on the settings, but most of the games, even on the high settings, 60 FPS on average at this resolution will be more than possible. And you get the same 16 gigs of RAM, and you even get more storage, but this is hard drive, which is a bit slower, but you also get those 256 gigs of SSD. Now, I reviewed an HP Pavilion last year. You will have that video in the top right of the screen. It has benchmarks too, so if you want to see the performance of that one, which is a cheaper option, you will have it in the top right of the screen. Then with the next one, for $900 you end up saving $400, which is a lot of money once again. We have the Skytech Mini. This one has the i5 12400F, which is a great CPU for gaming, even at 4K if you pair it with a 4K graphics card. This is not the case. Here you get the RTX 3050, which is a really decent 1080p GPU that I wouldn't recommend buying on a PC build because it's too expensive for the performance that it brings. But on Prebuilt PCs, the RTX 3050 is definitely not a bad option, especially at this price point. Remember, we are talking about Prebuilt PCs, of course. PC builds are going to be cheap cheaper and bring you more performance. But not everyone wants to build their PC by themselves, which is completely understandable, and that's why I make these videos. Anyway, here you also get 16 gigs of RAM, 1TB of NVMe SSD, and a 600W 80+ core power supply. Also get a front mesh panel, so the airflow is pretty good here, and a premium CPU air cooler. It's not necessary for the i5-12400F, but it is a nice to have. So I think this PC is slightly worse than the last one in terms of the deal, because the last one gets the RTX 3060, you get much better performance for 1080p. But anyway, with the 3050 you will be capable of doing anything at 1080p as well, so don't worry about that. But this one is better for future proof, because you can change everything inside of this PC, because this is a system integrator. So if you want to change everything inside of this PC in the near future, I recommend you going with this one instead of the last one. However, if you just want to plug and play, you don't want to go inside of the PC changing things all the time, I think the last one is a better deal by far. And then with the last deal, it's not on sale, but it is a good deal if you want the highest of the highest end. However, I do recommend you waiting until November for the Black Friday, and also all of the new GPUs and CPUs are going to be released by then. I do recommend you to see the new deals and all of this stuff. But if you want the highest end right now, I recommend you this Cobra type Dragon Legend AM5 platform. You get the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X RTX 3090 alongside 32 gigs of RAM, of course, of DDR5, 2TB of NVMe SSD, a 1000W 80+ core power supply, which will be enough for this build and for future upgradability, and a 120 all-in-one liquid cooler, which it's the flaw of this PC. I do recommend you upgrading as soon as possible the liquid cooler, because we are working with the Ryzen 9 7900X. Don't worry about it, I will leave 360 all-in-one liquid cooler for this PC down below in the video description, so make sure to check it out. And then they have another version which is a higher end than this one already. It's $4,400. It's too expensive, but if you want the best of the best, this is in my opinion one of the best Prebuilt PCs at this price point. The other one is this Skytech Prism 2 that I always mention, and it's on the video description as well, so take a look at that one. I think that is worth mentioning because it's cheaper, and trust me, the performance is going to be really similar. But anyway, here you get the 7950X and the RTX 3090 Ti, and you get a bit of extra performance, even though the last one was already a beast. And you get a Corsair liquid cooler. It doesn't specify which one. On the photo it looks like a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is going to be enough for the CPU, and is what I consider the standard for this type of CPUs. So that was the list. However, I do update every single day on my post different gaming PC deals that are coming out every single day. If you want to get notified for that, subscribe, but most importantly hit that bell button so you get notified not only for this type of videos every single week, and also the PC build videos, which trust me are going to be really helpful for you if you don't know anything about computers, or even if you know, you will have a good guidance. But not only for that, also for the posts, so you get notified for the good deals. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next one.